Hello everyone, we're back with another video covering the updates that Void has been putting out for the patch coming out. Now, this is a big surprise to me, honestly. I was not expecting this fix. They are actually fixing Pepperspray now. Pepperspray used to be very awful. I have a video about it, basically using it and seeing like what ways you can use it and how it can be utilized. And the only time I ever found it to be effective, which I'll talk about a little bit later in this video, and I've kind of discussed that in my other video where it's if it's pepper or pass. Now getting onto some other updates that they are adding, which is really interesting. Now there were AI SWAT sometimes throwing grenades at closed doors when ordered to open and clear double doors with one open door. I never experienced this, but a lot of the time whenever I do open and clear, I didn't really ever see that. And I never saw them like throw a grenade without being told to do so. But a really significant thing here, human shield, civilians not dying when shot in the head by their hostage taker. Now, this means that hostage situations are going to be much harder. That means when they take that shot, you're not going to have that like a little bit of extra time to take out that hostage taker. Now, before you could actually aim at the target, and during this whole time, you'd see them and they would be hitting the hostage. They would actually shoot and their animation would actually not count as the civilian as being dead. Essentially, when that hostage situation was going on, a lot of the time, if there was the animation that ended, that is what actually ended up counting towards that civilian not surviving. Because you could actually see the animation for the hostage going on. They would take the shot and the civilian would still be alive as long as you are shooting that hostage taker before that animation ends, because there's like, you know, probably like half a second to a second after that animation where he actually aims and shoots the weapon at the civilian. And during that time, the civilian could be theoretically shot, but the animation didn't count towards actually shooting the target essentially until that the whole animation was over. So that means human shields are going to be a lot harder to deal with. You're going to need to be able to take that shot much quicker, especially when you see them start to move for that headshot. Also, there was this thing with AI where the default open door command, picking it would basically do the wrong action when set to other things. So if you guys don't know this, in the settings, you can change it so like your default, whenever you look at the door and you tell them to like move and clear with a flashbang, for example, that command, and I actually experienced this with a lot of other commands when I was playing around with the settings and stuff, is that they wouldn't do what it said that you changed the command to do. It would actually like either do another one or it just wouldn't work depending on what it was. So I'm very happy to see that being fixed. And this is an interesting one. Suspects not correctly reacting to SWAT AI compliance yells. So I'm not sure what this means for the grand scheme of actually playing with AI, but it sounds like if they weren't acting correctly, it's probably because it probably means that they weren't actually being affected by it, or they weren't being affected by it as much as they should be. So that means for AI, when you're playing with them, a lot of the time, they're all yelling, they're all shouting, and doesn't really have an effect on them. So this could really mean that AI, when they're all yelling at the suspect, could really mean a better compliance with the AI potentially. So that means that essentially what you're going to probably be seeing is just my guess, of course, and speculation, but it sounds like it sounds as if the AI SWAT, whenever they're yelling, you're going to get better results. So that means the AI are going to be much more effective whenever they're yelling. Also, I'm not sure I've ever actually seen this to be the case ever, but there is also a fix for Pepperspray being deployed by SWAT AI, not affecting its target. I've never ever had a Pepperspray on my AI teammates, and I've never commanded them to actually deploy that type of item. And if you guys aren't aware in the game, there is a currently a way to have your suspects, your AI SWAT teammates apply like a taser or deploy, you know, the pepper spray as I just said. And a lot of the time people didn't really do this, but essentially all you had to do was aim at the suspect of in question. Like if they're trying to get them to tase, you use your interact button to get your SWAT AI menu up, your context menu, and then you could go deploy, and then you would do taser and or pepper spray. I've never deployed pepper spray, and I've never deployed taser in this fashion, but it is very interesting. And if pepper spray wasn't working, that's kind of funny. because obviously it wasn't working in the first place. Now, when it comes to deploying pepper spray against certain types of suspects, now in those types of scenarios, I actually found using pepper spray against targets with knives to be extremely effective. And it actually was kind of better in some ways than a taser, because a lot of the time, if someone was rushing you with a knife, if you had a taser out and you shot, let's say 1 or 2 shots, depending on your accuracy, there's a chance that you can miss with the taser, but it's really, really, really hard to miss with the pepper spray because it is just a straight stream of pepper spray. And funny enough, I didn't actually have any issues making them surrender. And hilariously enough, I actually was testing out pepper spray on dorms, and that's kind of where it's actually king for getting those better ranks. And I actually got a better rank using pepper spray, and it still isn't the best for, obviously at the time, as it is now, and it's going to be updated to be more effective, because as it says, suspects and civilians were not able to surrender while being pepper sprayed. So I assume what that means is, because I've had this interaction before, and you can actually see that in my pepper or pass video, where I would spray basically a whole can of pepper spray, and I would be shouting at them the whole entire time, generally speaking. And based off of this, it looks like if you were being pepper sprayed, if the suspect was being pepper sprayed while you were telling them to surrender, they wouldn't be able to surrender, which is super, super hilarious, obviously, because that's obviously what you're doing. You're yelling at them while you're pepper spraying them until they, get down. Now it looks like whenever you're pepper spraying them, you don't have to let off the pepper spray, yell at them, see if they surrender, and then keep pepper spraying them. It's just going to be obviously that, getting that suspect to surrender once these meet that threshold of compliance, essentially, because obviously when you're using pepper spray or taser or yelling, there is a certain amount of stress towards that target, and that target is, getting essentially, some type of compliance meter, and it's going up or down depending on how you look at it. But essentially what you're doing is using pepper spray to make them comply, make them surrender, and pepper spray is going to be essentially a million times more effective. Now, obviously, this is a question, and that I'm going to be testing out this in a future video, of course, because I've already done it. And as you can kind of see the state of it currently, but I will be making another video about that to kind of show off these differences and see if there is any reason to take pepper spray, let's say, over a taser, because taser is king right now. You have essentially 6 shots from 1 point in taser, which is insane value for what it is. So for people who don't want to go like S rank or whatever, they just want to maybe try to get like an A or something, or they're just kind of playing for fun and they want to still do the objectives, taser was definitely king for that, and pepper spray was kind of just a joke. There was no real function for pepper spray to be in this kind of space. And as I talk about in my other video, the taser, whenever you shoot somebody with a taser, it's instantaneous compliance, and it basically stuns them and they can't do anything. So functionally, you can actually even end a target's hostility towards you much quicker than actually even some weapons. Let's say if you're shooting center mass, because taser, if you come around a corner and shoot them anywhere, essentially, you are going to be tasing them. But of course, if you were to use like a weapon, you would actually have to kill them. You'd have to end them, or you'd have to, essentially incapacitate them, obviously, to stop them from firing at you. But obviously with the taser, it was instantaneous. Now with pepper spray, and this is probably going to still be the case, whenever you are spraying somebody who has a weapon, especially a firearm and not just a knife, whenever you are spraying them, a lot of the time what would happen is they would just keep shooting. They would kind of shoot blindly, but because you're in the range of pepper spray, it has a decent range, but a lot of the time you're using it pretty close up. So hopefully this is going to improve it enough for it to be some type of viable, at least better, maybe against like, knives or something. But in terms of its effectiveness, I'm not sure if it's going to be necessarily any more effective, technically speaking, but obviously it's going to start working essentially, because obviously it wasn't working as intended. So as far as I know, this isn't going to be an actual buff. It's just going to be an actual fix for what wasn't working. So this is super interesting. I'm very excited to see what this really means. Now, in the video, it does say in coming weeks. So what does that mean? I assume that still means it's going to be during the upcoming patch for Boiling Point, which I assume is going to be announced I'm not sure if it's going to be released on it on that day, but it's at least going to be announced to be released, I would assume. Obviously, if it's released, that's going to be awesome. But on March 12th, that is the planned date. I do have the dates for it in my other videos, if you want to check those out. I do also plan to be streaming on that day. So if the DLC is out, or if the patch is out, I assume it's going to be out on that day. I'm just guessing, of course. I don't know for 100% sure. But if it is on that day, that is the day I'm going to be streaming, testing out these things, looking at the, the multi-attachment system for the weapons. So if you want to check out my stream, kind of see what's going on before you play, before you buy the DLC, for example, if it does come out on that day, I will be covering that. And of course, whenever the DLC does come out, if it is on the 12th or another day, I'll definitely be playing that and covering that to see if it is worth it, if it's worth getting it, if you're just going to get cosmetics, maybe a couple maps. But before in the other DLCs, you had a lot of those maps be available regardless. So the only thing you were only missing out on whenever you didn't buy a DLC, a lot of the time it was just the cosmetics, which of course isn't super important to a lot of people. A lot of the time, the weapons, I believe, were given for free, if I remember correctly, depending on if you're on console or if you're on PC. So those things can kind of change. But if you're interested in seeing more, make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you check out my live stream when I stream. It'll probably be, as I said, on the 12th, assuming everything goes well. But that is going to be it for the video. Let me know what you guys think about the upcoming patch. The Pepperspray is going to be, essentially working as intended now. Do you guys intend to put it in your kit? Do you guys intend to use Pepperspray? Because before I was using it and it seemed okay versus, fighting suspects that have like knives or something, or civilians that didn't have anything in their hands, just a quick kind of spray and they would give up. Or do you think, as probably a lot of people are thinking right now, what's the point of Pepperspray? There's not really a good, value proposition for it, as it's probably just going to be outshunned again by a taser. So I'm kind of curious to see how this patch affects Pepperspray and see where it goes and see what kind of meta or what kind of value we can get out of Pepperspray now. So let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think Pepperspray is going to be just as garbage as it was before? Or do you think Pepperspray is going to be the new taser? So you guys let me know in the comments. Let me know what you guys think about the patch. What are you guys excited for? Are you guys excited for the new maps? Are you guys excited for potentially new weapons? They haven't announced anything yet, but hopefully maybe we can see something soon with that. Anyway, that is going to be it for the video. Thanks for watching and have a good day.